What's up, everyone? So today's Friday. Usually I do these recap videos on Mondays, but whenever I think that there's a lesson to be learned, I'll come back on here and I'll kind of explain stuff. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what the hell is going on in November, right? So if you guys don't know, or if this is your first year trading or anything like that, November historically, ever since I've been trading for the past 6.5, 7 years, has been the month that us small cap traders make the most amount of money. So if you thought that the market was hot all year, it's really nothing compared to what happens in November. So why is it in November? What's the reason, or what is it, right? So there's a bunch of different theories, there's a bunch of different ideas, but the simplest thing is to realize that most of these funds or most of these places that have losses on the year, right? Let's say a company has a net loss, or let's say a hedge fund or a firm has a net loss of $50 million on the year, right? When it comes time for November, all of these small cap stocks, they start running because a lot of these funds like to manipulate and like to push them so that they could look like they are having a very green year, or to be able to recover from those losses, right? So that's one theory, right? Another theory is that during November, a lot of people are kind of away or traveling for family, Thanksgiving, or stuff like that. So because of that, the volume shrinks in the market, which allows these algos and these manipulators to push these stocks even further. The truth of the matter is we don't really need to know why that it happens. We just need to observe and understand that it is going to happen, right? So I don't care what the reason is. I don't care. It doesn't really matter to me. All that matters to me is every single November, we usually get some crazy action in the market. So what happens, right? What is this crazy action and how can you capitalize on it? So normally what ends up happening is a lot of low float stocks start going crazy. So you have stocks like ONCT, you have stocks like APVO, KNDI, all these stocks, they start going crazy, right? And the reason why is because everyone loves a low float stock, everyone loves that, and it's very easy to be manipulated. So historically, we've had a lot of short squeezes during this time. I think AQXP was one of them, SAEX was one of them, KBIO was one of them, I think Lake was one of them. What else? Maybe like DCIX or BLPH, BPTH, stuff like that. So every November we get a runner, right? We get a crazy runner, stocks that go from 1 to 70 or 1 to 80. But this is a very difficult market, right, guys? So the point that I want to emphasize is that if you are making money in a slow market and you find yourself struggling when the market is kind of getting jumpy and volatile like this, you don't really need to trade this hot market, right? You have to stick to what works for you. For me, I do pretty well in like a medium speed market. When it's not dead all the time, and it's not hot all the time, when it's just medium, just maybe there's a play on Monday, no play on Tuesday, there's a play on Wednesday, no play on Thursday, there's a play on Friday. So that's kind of the market that I find myself doing the best in. If a market is too hot, there's way too many traps, way too many zombies, way too many algos that I don't really do that well. And when the market is slow, I start to screw around and I start to trade non-optimal setups, right? So if you find yourself struggling in this crazy November market, step one might be to step back. Step two might be to size down. Step three might just be to avoid it altogether, right? So you have to find what works for you. The past 2 days, we've had some crazy action in the market. And I've been finding myself struggling. Although I'm making money, I'm barely making money in this market, man. I'm barely making money. If I didn't have 6 or 7 years of this trading, I'd probably be red every single day this week. But now this is the reason why I'm coming on here, is because I'm starting to realize that, okay, this is not my optimal market. This is not the optimal market conditions that I'm looking for. So I'm going to size down. I'm going to take it a little bit slower, and I'm going to patiently wait for that big short squeeze to come and then capitalize on it when it is here, guys. So again, you don't have to really understand what the reason is for these November runners, but you just have to understand that they are coming and they are here. And if this week shows you anything, it shows you that these stocks are all fucking crazy, man. They're all crazy. Now, just so that you guys know, the week that November gets the craziest is Thanksgiving week, right? The reason why Thanksgiving week the market gets the craziest is because we have usually a shortened week. There's usually a half day in there somewhere, and a lot of people leave their trading setups or leave the stock market to go visit their friends and family for Thanksgiving. So because of that, the volume shrinks, and these algos and these robots start sending these stocks left and right. So pay attention to Thanksgiving week, We usually call it crack week or holiday crack week because it happens every single Thanksgiving week, guys. So that's number one. So as long as you guys understand that, as long as you guys could kind of pay attention and realize what kind of market you do well in, that gives you the ability to, really refine your process the right way. So again, in a super hot market, I struggle because I start over trading. I start trading based on FOMO. I get too patient and I get too greedy. In a medium-sized market, I know that the action is a little bit slower, which allows me to really think more, because if there's stocks moving left and right, my brain just can't compute all the action that's happening, right? So find what type of market that you are good in and stick to it. Do not feel like you have to trade every single month, or do not feel like you have to trade every single day. It is okay to take a day off, a week off, reset your brain, let the market do its cycle, and then come back when you are ready, guys. So do you guys have any questions about that? Check these stocks real quick. What kind of market do you guys see yourselves doing well in? Are you guys doing well in this market? Are you guys doing better in a slower market? Maybe leave a comment and let me know what you guys are doing really well in. So yeah, FTC. So let's talk about some trade recaps today, right? So I want to talk about some good ones and some bad ones, right? So let's talk about the good ones first. So KXIN. KXIN was a low-hanging fruit, which means it was a stock yesterday that tanked, that gapped up today on no news, no volume. On no news, just basically bullshit, right? So anytime I have a low-hanging fruit like that, those are my ideal setups that I want to size up on, because yesterday the stock was broken and today we had a dead cat bounce. So I want to be shorting that dead cat bounce. Stock went up to VWAP. I had it on my watch list around like a 420 line, and I ended up making a little bit of money on it, but I know that James made a lot of money on it because he was really focused and he knows how powerful the low-hanging fruit was. So that's number one. ONTC was another low-hanging fruit. I think I was looking for like 340, 350, and 360 with a 370 stop. It went all the way back up to $4 before coming back down. So had you followed the watch list, you would have shorted at 340, 350, 360, 10%, 10%, 10% for a 30% size. You would have probably taken a loss at 370. And then I mentioned to the guys in the room that the $4 mark double topped, and that might have been your entry to re-enter, guys. So again, every day we're not going to make money. Every day, everything's not going to go smoothly according to plan, right? As traders, we are using probabilities to be able to determine what is going to happen in the future, right? KXIN was a low-hanging fruit that worked out. ONTC or ONCT was a low-hanging fruit that didn't work out right away, right? So again, we are using these observations and we are using these things to kind of be able to paint the picture, right? So I did well on KXIN. ONTC, I did all right. And then what ended up happening is KNDI, I found myself losing in. So KNDI, the stock basically gapped down today. So I said, all right, the stock gapped down today. I'm probably going to look to be shorting pops on this. As long as red to green ends up failing, or if red to green doesn't fail, I'll short the pops with 30% size. So I found myself shorting KNDI. It broke above green. It bounced. It did everything that it shouldn't have, yet I found myself shorting it. So I basically shorted it with like a 920, 930 average, maybe something like that. And I had 30% size. And my plan was, if the stock breaks above pre-market high of the day, I'm going to stop out. I think the pre-market high of the day was 975. The high of the day was 975, and my stop was 976. So I was 1 penny away from exiting for a loss. Stock ended up coming back down towards 950, 940. And at that point, I was like, you know what? The stock's not going to come back to break even. If I just keep holding it for break even, I'm going to lose. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to bite my lip and take it for a loss for 20 cents. And then as I did that, it rebounded another $1. So good thing I did not get greedy there. So recap, KXIN, low-hanging fruit, I underperformed on. ONCT, low-hanging fruit that I had a minor win, call it a scratch trade. KNDI, stock was red, I lost on. So already I'm struggling in this market, right? The shit that worked last week is not really working this week. And oftentimes people would be like, oh my God, like I have to change my strategy. I don't know what I'm doing. This is not right. Something's happening, blah, blah, blah. But I've been trading for so long, guys, that I realized that the strategies work, the process works, but there's going to be certain stocks and certain tickers that just don't conform to it, man. There's gonna be certain stocks that just don't do it. And those are the 10% of times that the stocks don't work. Those are the 10% of times that our hard stops save us. So again, if you are struggling on this week, I am struggling too, right? But what is a solution? We don't just stop and say, all right, we're struggling, it's game over, what are we gonna do? The solution for me is I'm gonna size down next week. I'm gonna take it a little bit slower. I've been finding myself trading pre-market a little bit too much, so I wanna kind of slow that down, right? So let me talk about other stock that was moving. ACB, so ACB is a marijuana stock, and it looks like, again, I'm not gonna talk politics, but it looks like Joe Biden's gonna become the president, and I think he has a very lenient stance on marijuana. So a lot of these marijuana stocks have been going straight up. I don't really care if it's legitimate or whatever it is. All I know is that anytime there's political headlines or political risk on these stocks, I don't want to touch them. I mentioned in the watch list today that ACB was not a short. So if you just looked at the watch list today, that would have saved you getting trapped because it just went straight up today. What else was there? FTSI was another one. FTSI was a stock that broke down pre-market, that tanked pre-market, that somehow halted up on no air. I mean, on no news, no volume, just basically halted up on nothing. I was able to short that for a small win. Again, stock went to like 550. I found myself chasing it at 520. So all around, guys, I've been trading really, really sloppy. And if I'm just being honest, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna lose probably sometime next week. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have a loss. And, you know, I've already mentally accepted that. I've already kind of admitted that I'm trading really sloppy. So I want to just be able to calm myself, calm my nerves, focus on doing the right thing. And again, reminding myself that we are in November and this is not a month to be fighting stocks. This is not a month to not be using hard stops. You know, if you use hard stops, you know, you're going to be safe in this market. Yet 90% of traders still don't use hard stops, which I don't understand. So this was kind of just a video to kind of let me vent to you guys, explaining the November runners, explaining what happens during this month, and showing you that even a professional trader like myself is struggling because the market action is changing, right? And just because I'm struggling doesn't mean I take it there or I stop it there. I start looking for solutions on how I can adapt to this market, right? So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Today was kind of a weird day just mentally for me. I don't like underperforming at all. I don't care if I made money. I made like $2,000 today, and you know, the money is great, but at the end of the day, I traded my process poorly today. And I know that if I keep doing that, I'm gonna fucking eat shit really soon. So this is just kind of my way of reaching out to you guys and having a way to keep myself accountable and letting you guys know that it is normal to struggle. You know, last month I made 120 grand in 1 month, and this month I'm doing good, but I'm not there. I'm just mentally, something's just like not there for me. So because I'm not at my sharpest mental performance, I need to size down and I need to be able to slow down before I start, you know, hitting speed bumps along the way. So that's it, guys. This is kind of what MIC is all about. We're all about being open. We're all about being honest. You know, if I struggle, I let you guys know. If I kick ass, I let you guys know. And that's basically it, guys. So again, if you guys have any questions about MIC or any questions about trading, be sure to text us at 213-458-5997. Let me think if there's anything special we could do. We haven't really ran a promotion in a long time, so maybe if you text Tosh the word November, right? If you text Tosh the word November, 213-458-5997, I'll tell him to give you guys a really big discount, right? So we'll do that for the first, 10 people that text him today, just so that we have a way to kind of help you guys during this November madness. Because truth of the matter is if you're not really getting it this month, you might fucking blow up. And it's just the truth. It's really, really hard. It's really sketchy. So at least take the initiative and start to adapt and start to improve, guys. So that's basically it. I'll see you guys back in the room. I'm done for the day. Just gonna try to clear my head for the rest of the day. So appreciate it, guys.